I'm concerned with burdening my young child with the weight of racism, but I also feel compelled to provide him with the understanding and the tools to deal with prejudice and to make sure he comes home every day. Do you have any tips or suggestions?
This is probably one of the most frequent questions that I get asked in terms of how do you talk with kids about racism? Should you talk with kids about racism? And when you should start those talks, because at some point you're going to have to do it. It's a matter of really making sure that parents understand that kids recognize these racial differences at a very young age. And so we've seen research showing that as young as 2, like kids recognize that people are treated differently based upon their race. Kids are looking up to their parents as the first person in their life to really show them how to live. It's important for parents to really have that conversation with their kids about race and racism, and being able to really recognize that it's not about having placing a burden on your child. I think as adults, we place so much weight on talking about race and racism compared to kids, and they are going to take their cues about this topic from you as the parent. And so if you are feeling a burden about having the conversation, yes, they're going to feel like a burden because they're going to pick up on your anxiety or your stress around the topic. And so I always recommend that for parents, take some time to prepare before you have that conversation with your child. So what are the things that you want to communicate about racism, and be comfortable with your own emotions so that way you can be authentic in your conversation around that topic. So if you are frustrated, if you are angry, if you are unsure, let your child know that, and then you can both sort of work through those feelings together, as opposed to you trying to pretend that you're okay, but inside you're boiling over because you don't know what is my kid going to ask me about this topic. So I think that preparation is really important. APA has a website that looks at resilience and racial and ethnic socialization. They have a lot of resources in terms of the types of questions that you can ask kids from a developmental perspective, from a toddler all the way up through adolescents or teenagers.